What's up, Star Wars fans? This is Urban Acolyte TV, and my name is Prince. Let me ask you this. What do you think is motivating Kylo Ren? Now, about 2 weeks ago, I presented a video that ended with the question about Kylo Ren being jealous of Rey. And the truth is, I don't think jealousy is Kylo Ren's motivation at all. I think that something else is motivating Kylo Ren that would actually make his character the most important person in the saga. I mean, the saga films do focus on the Skywalker family, and Ben Solo is the grandson of Anakin Skywalker. So let's talk about what I think is really motivating Kylo Ren. When we first see Kylo Ren alone in The Force Awakens, he is either in his private quarters or some type of meditation room, and he's speaking to the charred remains of Darth Vader's helmet. He's pleading with his grandfather to show him the darkness because he still feels a pull to the light. Now, during his dialogue, he says, "I will finish what you've started." And that is where I'll be focusing for this video. What did Vader start? And what has Kylo Ren attempted to finish? Why does Kylo Ren feel that he needs to complete his grandfather's work? What I think is that Kylo Ren is attempting to fulfill the prophecy of the Sith'ari. So let's talk about the Sith'ari. So the prophecy of the Sith'ari comes from the Legends canon, and it's basically a myth. And that's what it means when something is a Star Wars legend. It's a myth. Some of it could turn out to be true. Like Ahsoka said, there's always a bit of truth in legends. The prophecy of the Sith'ari says that the Sith'ari will be free of limits. The Sith'ari will lead the Sith and destroy them. The Sith'ari will raise the Sith from death and make them stronger than before. The Sith pureblood race believed that the Sith'ari would be a perfect being or a god, and while some believe the Sith'ari had already come, like with most messianic figures, many were expecting the Sith'ari to return. It is believed that Darth Bane was the Sith'ari because he literally destroyed the Sith and rebuilt them stronger than before. Now, how that happens, we don't know, and that's because the events on Ruusan that led to the destruction of the Brotherhood of the Sith are just a legend. What we do know is that from the ashes of the old Sith Order, Bane recreated the Sith in his image following the rule of two. Bane believed that because of the nature of the dark side, it should only be contained to a master to wield the power and an apprentice to crave the power. So following the Bane order, there will only be two Sith Lords. At any point, the apprentice may rise up to kill their master in order to assume the mantle of the true Dark Lord. The goal is that each line of succession will become stronger in the dark side of the Force and in their influence in the galaxy. This all culminated in Darth Sidious and his apprentice, Darth Vader, who was the chosen one of the prophecy of Mortis. According to the notes found in the Book of the Sith, Darth Sidious believed himself to be the chosen one because he is the one who finally defeated the Jedi and ruled the galaxy. If we go a step further by introducing the work that Darth Plagueis was doing in his quest for immortality, then perhaps we have to consider an alternate interpretation of the Sith'ari as a god of the dark side. Darth Plagueis, in his quest to achieve immortality, learns with his apprentice, Darth Sidious, the final secret of the dark side. And it's a ritual requiring two Sith, one to serve as bait for the dark side, the other to be the vessel. Success would grant them the power to harness the full powers of the dark side and allow them to rule for 10,000 years. So how do we tie all of this back to Kylo Ren? We know from looking at Kylo Ren's crossguard lightsaber that he is a student of history, but it is a possibility that he is obsessed with Sith history. In the new continuity, we've been introduced to the idea of these many satellite Jedi temples and Sith shrines spread throughout the galaxy. In Star Wars Rebels, we've seen the Jedi Temple on Lothal and the Sith Temple at Malachor. We've been introduced to the first Jedi Temple on Ahch-To, where Luke has been for an unknown period of time. There is even the fan speculation that there is some kind of Jedi temple in Rey's vision. As part of the First Order, Kylo Ren would have access to Imperial records and all of the information from the Jedi Temple archives. He would also be privy to whatever wisdom and knowledge that Supreme Leader Snoke has. I believe that Kylo Ren probably traveled around seeking knowledge, and it's likely that he stumbled onto the Sith's prophecy of the Sith'ari. So let's talk about his heritage. Kylo Ren, or Ben Solo, however you want to call him, is the grandson of Anakin Skywalker, who is the chosen one from the prophecy of Mortis. As Darth Vader, Anakin destroyed the Bane Order of Sith, and the Sith are now gone. By destroying his master and sacrificing himself, Vader accidentally fulfills the prophecy of the Sith'ari, but he dies in the process. Luke is the only known trained Force user left at this point, and Luke is a Jedi, like his father before him. So who is left at this point to fulfill the rest of the prophecy? This is the only way that I can interpret Kylo Ren's statement, "I will finish what you've started." If we think about that statement, it sheds a completely different emphasis on the character of Ben Solo or Kylo Ren. We see Kylo Ren as a broken character. I mean, look at his lightsaber. It's an extremely lethal weapon, but it's unstable. He has an unstable temperament, throwing tantrums and tearing up his ship. I mean, there's all this talk about Kylo Ren not being strong enough in the Force, but when have we seen someone use Force stasis displayed at that level? It's likely that Kylo Ren is actually a Force prodigy, but his glaring flaws mask his true potential. I mean, look at those ashes. He keeps the ashes of his defeated enemies, and that's just plain crazy. We actually see that Kylo Ren is probably dealing with the same struggles, frustration, and confusion that Anakin had when he turned to the dark side. Kylo Ren is just as naive as his grandfather Anakin. Anakin told Padme that he believes someone wise should rule, and this mirrors Kylo Ren devoting himself to Supreme Leader Snoke, who he believes is also wise. We have to question why Kylo Ren is chosen to become one of Snoke's students. What's in it for him, and does he have an ulterior motive? Is Kylo Ren following Snoke simply because he craves Snoke's wisdom? If this story is about Kylo Ren completing the work of Darth Vader, and in his mind, that means completing the prophecy of the Sith'ari, well, that makes Snoke not as important as many people have made him out to be, meaning he's not Darth Plagueis. If Kylo Ren is successful, it means that he will kill Snoke. He will create a new order of the Sith, and he will declare himself as the new Dark Lord of the Sith. Now, I realize I'm taking a huge guess with this speculation, but recall a year ago when the fandom was making up all kinds of speculations leading up to The Force Awakens. The popular thought was that Rey and Kylo Ren were the Solo twins, Jacen and Jaina. In the story of Jacen and Jaina Solo, Jacen studied with other sects of Force users before things eventually led to him becoming a Sith Lord by the name of Darth Vader. So when you think about it, the foundation is already there for Kylo Ren to complete his fall to the dark side, betray Supreme Leader Snoke, and assume leadership of the First Order, and to become the Dark Lord of a new order of Sith. As for Rey, I don't think Kylo Ren is jealous of Rey at all. Look back at their lightsaber battle. I would think Kylo Ren would want to dominate her, turn her to the dark side, and make her his apprentice. Rey's fear and her desire to kill Kylo Ren actually fall in line with what Darth Bane says regarding an apprentice to crave their master's power. So I will admit, this is all a creative guess on my part. It's not a theory because I currently have nothing to support what I'm saying. I'm only trying to guess at what Kylo Ren meant when he says that he will finish what Vader started. So now I'd like to hear from all of you. Do you think that Kylo Ren believes that he is the chosen one who will fulfill the prophecy of the Sith'ari? And what do you think Kylo Ren is trying to complete? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. and this is going to be the first in my series of videos where I attempt to speculate on how Rey ends up on Jakku. So keep track of what I'm saying here. I'll be picking it up in my next video in this series, where I examine Rey's vision and show why it's actually not proof of her being a Skywalker. So if you haven't subscribed already, make sure to click that subscribe button down below so you can be notified when I get that video posted. In addition to these speculation videos, I also post the latest Star Wars news in my HoloNet Underground series. I review Star Wars Rebels, I take fan question videos that I post on Fridays, and I have my Real Life Jedi series where we explore ways to live like a real life Jedi. Well, hey guys, I've got to get to work on the next video in this series, so I'm going to sign off for now. Y'all keep on breathing, and may the Force be with you. Bye.